To ensure the best possible performance from your autopilot, and to avoid any damage to your boat, there are some basic guidelines you should follow with the installation of the GHP-10 and its electrical components. First off, we should note that Garmin highly recommends professional installation of this autopilot. It's a sophisticated system with a lot of interconnected technology, and most do-it-yourselfers will not have the special training in hydraulics and marine wiring that will be needed to properly install the system. In any event, the installation process should begin with a careful reading of the Garmin GHP-10 installation guide. You'll save time in the long run by taking a few minutes up front to familiarize yourself with all the components. You'll want to preview the detailed installation instructions and helpful schematic diagrams included. Once you have a clear understanding of how all the pieces fit together, it will be easier to plan the layout that works best for your boat. It's a good idea to temporarily place all the components where you plan to install them. That way, you can ensure that all cables and hydraulic lines can reach before drilling any holes or mounting any of the units. Also, make sure that the power on your boat is turned off before connecting any of the electrical components. Let's start with the Electronic Control Unit, or ECU. It connects to the round Course Computer Unit, or CCU, and the pump, and empowers them both. First thing to note is that the ECU and the pump must be located within 19 inches of each other to reduce RF interference. Do not extend the wiring harness from the ECU to the pump. In fact, our newest 2.1-liter pump has a bracket that lets you mount the ECU directly to the pump to keep the wire run as short as possible. With our other pumps, just use the template and screws provided to mount the ECU on a flat, dry surface that won't be submerged or exposed to washdown. You'll need to mount the ECU in a location where you can run heavy gauge power wire to the boat's battery. The power wire can be extended, if need be, to reach from the ECU to the battery, but don't connect it yet. We'll wait to connect the ECU to power until all the electronics in the system have been connected. Our next unit to mount is the Course Computer Unit, or CCU. The CCU is an electronic compass and rate gyro all in one that gives the autopilot its heading information. The CCU is sensitive to magnetic interference, so it needs to be mounted at least 24 inches away from any radio speakers, anchors, electric motors, or other sources of magnetic disturbance. Use a handheld compass to verify that your mounting location is free from magnetic interference. If the compass deflects when you hold it at the mounting location, you'll need to choose another spot to mount the CCU. The ideal location would be in the forward half of the boat, no higher than 10 feet above the waterline. If necessary, you can mount the CCU below the waterline, but make sure it's in a location where it won't be submerged. High-tech electronics are happier dry than wet. You'll want to mount the bracket for your CCU on a vertical bulkhead or under a horizontal surface and orient it so that the connected wires will hang straight down from the bottom of the unit. Once you have the CCU mounted and installed, make sure to tighten the thumb screw to stop the CCU from rotating. A single cable then connects it to the Electronic Control Unit, the GHC-10 display, and to the tachometer of your boat. Extension cables are available if the distance between your ECU and CCU is greater than 10 meters. Next up is the GHC-10 display. Choose a location on the dash with good access and visibility, securely attach the GHC-10 display head, and then snap the trim rings on for a seamless look. Run the power wire for the GHC-10 display to the same source as the CCU. Then, and this is very important, attach the yellow wire from the GHC-10 to the yellow CCU signal wire. If you don't, the autopilot system won't power on. The tachometer connection is also very important and must be wired correctly for the autopilot to function properly. If your engine outputs NEMA 2000 data and is connected to the same NEMA 2000 network as the GHC-10, then you're all set. If your engine does not output NEMA 2000 data, then you'll need to wire the autopilot to the tachometer using the bare wire portion of the CCU-ECU interconnect cable. In most cases, this connection can be made behind the dashboard at the tachometer display. Refer to your engine manual to determine the proper wiring scheme for the tachometer on your boat. As we mentioned earlier, the course control unit also connects to the NEMA 2000 network, so it can communicate with a GHC-10 control head and with any other NEMA 2000 compatible device. If you do not have an existing NEMA 2000 network on your boat, most of the parts needed to build one are included with the GHP-10 core pack. To connect to your NEMA 2000 network backbone, simply unscrew one side of a T-connector from the network at an appropriate location, add the included T-connectors for the ECU and GHC-10 to the network backbone, and then plug in the drop cables from the units to the T-connectors you've just added. Reconnect all the T-connectors in the backbone, and voila, your NEMA 2000 network is ready to go. Just be sure you don't power up the system until all the components are properly mounted and connected. The latest version of the GHC-10 control head can actually be powered from the NEMA 2000 bus. It doesn't need a separate power line, making it even easier and faster to install. Well, that's it for now on the electrical installation. Next, we'll be looking at the hydraulic side of the system. So stay tuned to watch and learn more about the Garmin GHP-10 Autopilot.